Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today I'm going to be talking about some of my most anticipated releases for the latter half of the year, or not really even the latter half, the latter 4 months like September, October, November and December, because I feel like loads of really good books always come out in these months and there's so many books that I'm so excited for. So yeah, let's just get started. So the first one we have is Babble or Babble by R.F. Kuang, which is coming out in the UK on the 1st of September and it will probably be out already by the time this video goes up. But yeah, this is like R.F. Kuang's dark academia set at Oxford. Like, I think it's historical with some light fantasy elements, but there's been a lot of hype for it and I'm very excited. I think R.F. Kuang is a great writer. I love the Poppy War trilogy. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. And I'm not the biggest fan of dark academia, but I feel like if anyone can write it well, it will be R.F. Kuang. But also, the fact that it's historical, I think I will like more. Like, I like historical fiction and historical romance, and I mean, I don't know if it's romance, but historical vibes. So I think that will mean I will enjoy the book rather than it being just like pure dark academia. Yeah, so that's that one. And then also in September we have Nona the Ninth coming out on the 13th of September, which I am so excited for. And this is the third book in the Lock Team trilogy. Lock Team series, which if you haven't read, you absolutely have to read. The first book is Gideon the Ninth and the second book is Harry the Ninth. It is one of my top 5 favourite series ever. Yeah, the first book is kind of following these two characters called Gideon and Harrow, and they've like grown up on this 9th house, and Gideon has always been constantly trying to escape the 9th house, but Harrow is like constantly thwarting her. And then they get called to this like first house to compete in this competition to become lictors, which is like gods basically, and they have to try and ascertain the secrets to lictorhood. But with all the other like 9 houses, like there's pairs from each house and they're competing, but then people start dying and it becomes like this murder mystery. And then the second book gets more spacey and there's like a pantheon of gods, and it's all just so good. And like, I have no idea what Nona is gonna bring, but I know that I am very excited for it and very excited to meet Nona as a character. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the series, Nona is this like slightly unknown character that is probably a character that we already know, like in either like soul swapped or like resurrected, but no one knows who Nona actually is. So I'm really excited to find out. I have a few theories, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, then coming out in November we also have a Restless Truth by Freya Marks, which is the sequel / companion to A Marvellous Light. And I have actually already read this one on ARC, but I loved it so much and I would have been really excited for it if I hadn't already read an ARC. And I'm excited for it to come out because like the cover for A Marvellous Light is really pretty and the cover for A Restless Truth looks so pretty, so I can't wait to have like a physical copy. It's gonna look so good. And this one is basically lesbian knives out on a boat, which is like a very accurate description. It's so much fun if you like murder mysteries and like historical murder mysteries and like murder mysteries set in a contained like setting, with like a bit of sapphic romance. Although I wouldn't 100% call it a romance, like it's almost like the start of a romance, but like a passionate affair on a boat. But I really loved it and I love the main character and both main characters and like the dynamic between them. I just loved it. Maud, who is the like main character, I would say, is like one of my favourite characters from this year. I love her so much. And then there's also some side characters who I absolutely love, and I think so I would say there's like the 2 main characters in the book is Maud and then Violet, who's like the love interest, and then the like 2 main side characters are Hawthorne, who you do meet in book 1 but gets so much better in book 2, and then Ross, who's a completely new character. And I think Hawthorne and Ross are gonna their book is gonna be book 3, but I love them in this book so much. Both of them are just such like iconic characters, and yeah, I just love Maud. But so yeah, I would highly recommend pre-ordering the book, or if you liked In a Marvelous Light, I always say In a Marvelous Light, but I think it's just A Marvelous Light. And if you like that book, definitely get book 2. If you didn't like that book, but like there were some things you liked about it, I would still probably recommend book 2, because it's like really different. Other than like the writing style, because obviously it's the same author, and I feel like the tone is quite similar, like in kind of light-hearted but still a little bit serious and quite cozy, but like the kind of setting and the like style of the romance and like the plot are all quite different. Yeah, so I don't know, I would definitely read A Restless Truth without having read A Marvelous Light. Like it would make perfect sense because it's quite a contained story. So yeah, I'm very excited for that one to come out and for more people to read it. And then we also have Ocean's Echo by Verena Maxwell, which is the sequel. No, it's not even a sequel. It's not even a companion. It's like vaguely set in the same universe, but it's by the same author as Winter's Orbit, which I loved last year. That's like a very cozy sci-fi, and I feel like Ocean's Echo is also a cozy sci-fi. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. One of my favourite things about the book was like the friendship. I've also already read an arc of this, but it's not out till November. Like the kind of, even though it's a romance, like the friendship between the two main characters is just so good, and like even before it like becomes a relationship, I just love that. And I feel like so often in books you don't see that in a relationship, like, and I don't know, I feel like it's in real life way more often. Maybe this is just a UK thing, but it's like people are friends and then they get in a relationship. I feel like, and so I just like that about the book, and like all the like tropes and stuff were so good. Like the two main characters are Tanal and Sorit, and they basically have to fake like a telepathic bond, and it's just so good. It's like fake dating, but like dialed all the way up. And I really liked both main characters. So Tanal is like this kind of wild child who is like the nephew of like the main lady in charge of like the solar system or whatever, but he's quite like, he gets drunk all the time and like parties and stuff. And so his aunt like conscripts him into the military to be like bonded to these people called a writer, who like can control people's like control their actions. And he gets there and he's meant to be bonded to this other character called Sorit, who's like this young like golden boy lieutenant who is like on the rise through the military and is very powerful, but his parent was like a traitor, so he's trying to like restore their name kind of. And yeah, and he's such a little cinnamon roll, and I love him. And then the whole like dynamic between the two, and like it reminded me a bit of like the rake wallflower trope from historical fiction, although it's not historical, it's like modern, but you know, that kind of where one character is really like confident and charming and then the other character's like a bit of a wallflower, and it kind of has to tame them, and I don't know, I just love it. So yeah, it was a really great book, so I would highly recommend that one, and have it on your pre-order list. Yeah, and then another book that I don't know if it's coming out this year or early next year, but the third Rook and Rose book, and the first one being The Mask of Mirrors and the second one being The Liar's Knot. It definitely has a name already, but I can't remember it, and I will put it in a picture on the screen, and if the release date is, I will put the release date as well. But yeah, I can't wait for this one. I love all the characters in that series so much. It's such a like fun series, and like the whole like Venetian type city and like the kind of shenanigans that go on. I love the characters, especially Ren, the main character, and Vargo, one of the other main characters. I love them both so much. And yeah, I just can't wait to see where book 3 goes. And I think it's a trilogy, so it will be the conclusion, which is kind of exciting. And yeah, I can't even remember that much of what happened in book 2, but all I remember is this other character called Grey, who I didn't like that much in book 1, but then absolutely loved in book 2. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that one. Then we also have Stella Loon, I think is the name. I might be getting it wrong, but this is the 9th Keeper of the Lost Cities book, which is a middle grade series that I love. And we follow this character called Sophie, who's like growing up in the human world but discovers she's actually an elf, and then she travels to the elven world and she sort of discovers she's at the heart of this like conspiracy. And the books just kind of follow Sophie and her adventures, and like Sophie growing up and Sophie like growing more confident in her powers and stuff, and I just love it so much, and I really love the series. I started rereading it actually. I've just been rereading book 1, but I just love all the characters. They're just like my little babies. And yeah, I'm very excited to see book 9. There's so many books. And the cover for this one is so stunning. Oh, I love it. So yeah, very much looking forward to that one. And I thought it was going to be the last book in the series, but I think actually now there's another book. So yeah, it's not the last one, but I feel like it's good to know that in advance, because recently I'm sure I read a series where I thought the book, A Dark and Hollow Star, the sequel, A Cruel and Fated Light, I thought it was a duology, and then the second book ended and I was like, this is a really like open cut in the middle of a scene ending for the end of a duology, but then I found out it was going to be a quartet. So I think it's good to know going into a book that it's not the final book type thing, because I think it does affect how you perceive it kind of. So yeah, that's that one. Then we also, I know I'm skipping around in time a bit. That one's coming out in November, by the way, but coming out in September is Amari and the Great Game, which is the second Amari and the Night Brothers book, which I'm really excited for, because this is another one of my like favourite middle grade series. And I loved the first book, so I'm very excited for the second book. And I know my edition from Watchstones is going to have gold sparkly edges, which I'm very excited for. And yeah, I don't actually know what the second book's going to be about, but the first book just had so many elements of like different middle grade series that I love. And I feel like the second book's just going to deliver on that and more. Amari is a great main character, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing future adventures. We also have The Lost Metal coming out in November, which is the 4th Mistborn book, Mistborn Era 2 book, which I'm very excited for. And yeah, as you probably know, I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson fan, and yeah, the Mistborn trilogy was probably one of the first like epic high fantasy series I ever read. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the 4th Era 2 book. And I like Era 2 because it's very fun. It's like almost like a Midwestern type vibe, like cowboys and guns and things. And the ending of book 3 was very interesting. There's a certain Cosmere character that likes to pop up, and I'm very excited to see where that goes, and maybe see if there's going to be any like setup for either Mistborn Era 3, which I'm really excited for because I think it's going to be like 1980s vibes, or Stormlight books as well, and because they are getting more like interconnected. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. And I feel like I have heard Brandon Sanderson say that this book, The Lost Metal, is going to be like the most Cosmere-y book so far, so we'll see. It'll be interesting anyway. I'm looking forward to it. And then the last book that I'm excited for is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and this is a House of Usher retelling. I think that's the book by Edgar Allan Poe, or maybe it's a poem. And I don't really know anything about this one other than it has like creepy mushrooms and a haunted house, and like that's all I really need to know. And a really stunning cover. Oh, so many books I'm guilty of being interested in just for the cover, and this is definitely one of them. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a perfect like October-y read. And I'm really looking forward to making a series of videos of like autumnal reads and spooky reads, and I do have a few from a couple of years ago, but I want to make some updated ones for this year because I love autumn so much. It's my favourite season by a mile, and oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, yeah, so they're all the books I'm excited for coming out in the rest of this year. Definitely let me know in the comments if there's any books you're excited for, if there's any you think I've missed, because I'm sure I have. Yeah, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I hope everyone is having a really great day, and I will see you next time.